Hi everybody, in this lesson I will help you understand how to represent equivalent fractions on the number line. So let's start with an example of two equivalent fractions 1 over 2 and 2 over 4. So look at this picture here. It has a whole divided into two equal parts. One of them is shaded. So this represents the fraction 1 over 2, and this picture here has the same whole divided into four equal parts, and two of those parts are shaded. So this picture represents the fraction 2 over 4, and as we can see, these two fractions are equivalent because the same portion of the whole is shaded in both cases. Now if I had to represent this fraction 1 over 2 on the number line, how would I do it? Well, I would take the unit interval from 0 to 1, divide it into two equal parts and pick this point over here, because this point covers one part out of the two parts and it is one part away from 0. So this point here would represent the fraction 1 over 2. And now if I had to represent the fraction 2 over 4 on the number line, what would I do? Well, for that I would divide the interval from 0 to 1 into four equal parts and pick the point that's two parts away. But as you can see, that point will also be over here. So this point represents both the fraction 1 over 2 and 2 over 4. So that's the key idea here. If you have two equivalent fractions, they would correspond to or represent the same point on the number line. In this case, this point is both 1 over 2 and 2 over 4. So that's the idea here. Equivalent fractions represent the same point on the number line. Now let's look at this second example here, in which we have a number line and we have 0 over here and we have 1 over here. So what we'll do first is think about dividing this unit interval from 0 to 1 into three equal parts, 1, 2 and 3. If we do that, then this point here represents the fraction 1 over 3 and this point here represents the fraction 2 over 3. Now what we'll do is take the same unit interval from 0 to 1 but divide it into six parts instead. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. In this case now, if you take this point over here, this represents the fraction 2 over 6 and this point here represents the fraction 4 over 6. So now what do we observe? We observe that this point here can be represented both as 1 over 3 and as 2 over 6, and therefore these two fractions are equivalent fractions. Similarly, this point here is both 2 over 3 and 4 over 6, and therefore these two fractions 2 over 3 and 4 over 6 are also equivalent fractions. So that's once again the key idea here. If you have two equivalent fractions, they correspond to the same point on the number line. Okay, in this problem here, we have to write the equivalent fractions in the boxes here. So let's see what's happening here. So we have these points. This one says 1 over 4, this one says 2 over 4, this one says 3 over 4. So what we'll do is take this interval from 0 to 1 and first think about dividing this into four equal parts. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Four equal parts, and therefore this one becomes 1 over 4, this one is 2 over 4, this one is 3 over 4, and that's that. And now what we'll do is take the same unit interval and think about dividing this into eight equal parts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we do that, then how do we represent this point now when the unit interval has been divided into eight equal parts? So this will be 2 out of the 8 parts, so 2 over 8. And as so we see that 1 over 4 and 2 over 8, these two fractions are equivalent. What about 2 over 4? This point, what will it correspond to over here? So this will be, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4 parts out of 8. So this would be 4 over 8, and these two fractions are equivalent. And what about this one? So this is 6 parts away, so this would be 6 over 8, and therefore 3 over 4 and 6 over 8 are equivalent. So for the equivalent fraction to 1 over 4 is 2 over 8, for 2 over 4 is 4 over 8, for 3 over 4 is 6 over 8, and that completes this problem. Alright, now in this case we have to fill in the two equivalent fractions in these boxes. So how do we do this? So observe these heavy marks over here. So this gives us our clue. So what we'll do is first think about dividing the interval from 0 to 1 into 5 equal parts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So if we do that, then we immediately see that this point should be the fraction 3 over 5. And now what we'll do is again take the same unit interval, but think about dividing it into 10 equal parts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 equal parts, and this point here is 6 parts away. So this would be 6 over 10. So this point corresponds to the two equivalent fractions 3 over 5 and 6 over 10. So that's it. That completes our lesson on representing equivalent fractions on the number line. Thank you for watching.